they seem to be approaching this with a healthy dose of skepticism. Anderson?
Yeah, I think as should we all. Dan Simon, thanks very much. Joining me now is CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin. That FX series about the Simpson case is based on his book, The Run of His Life, The People versus O.J. Simpson. Also joining us, criminal defense attorney Mark Garriga. So Jeff, I mean, there's so many unanswered questions here, but the lack of a murder weapon has made this investigation so difficult. A, do you believe this is real and the significance of it?
Well, I have a lot of skepticism. I mean, the length of time, the peculiar circumstances of something disappearing and being found and handed over to a cop. I think the odds are that this is the murder weapon are very low, but I think it's very appropriate that they investigate it, though it is clear to me that it could only be of historical interest. There is no chance of a state prosecution under double jeopardy, and there is no chance, in my opinion, of a federal civil rights case. Just the facts don't justify it. So, but look, like all people, like most people, I'm interested, but I think it's really just historical at this point.
And Mark, I mean, the chain of custody of this, this knife, I mean, allegedly went from a construction worker to a police officer, kept it for years. Who knows who else could have handled it? It's got to make it incredibly difficult to extract anything of significance, even if there was DNA on it after being in the ground for all that time.
That's exactly right, and that's one of the big problems with it, although I will tell you, if there is DNA on it of any kind and they find it, most judges are going to kind of not worry about that in terms of admissibility. And if there is nothing on it, then I think we've got to focus on whether or not Toobin has got some back-end points on his series, and that the timing of this was really had something to do with Toobin.
I got to be honest, that was my first thought. I mean, not necessarily Jeff per se, but I was like,
I thought
this has got to be FX has got to be behind this, because I mean, it's just so perfect publicity for what is already, by the way, a very popular and a very good series.
Right, and that's why I called Toobin's lawyer today and confirmed that he does have back-end points. And so the more profit participation is if he can juice this up a little in the ratings, because that's the only other thing.
The cynicism is just so terrible, so hurtful. It is true though that those of us who have been obsessed with this case, one of the great unanswered questions, and cards on the table, I think O.J. Simpson is guilty, but what did he do with the murder weapon? There were a lot of investigations of. Did he dump it? He went to Chicago the night of the murders. Did he leave it at LAX airport?
Wasn't there a witness who saw him depositing a bag in the garbage or something at the airport?
Yes.
There was a witness who might have seen something to that effect. Remember, this was before 9/11. There were not the same kind of medical